I've heard it countless times. Korean. The alphabet looks so easy. It must be a piece of cake to learn the language. And it's true. Hangeul is one of the most scientific and logical writing systems ever created. You can literally learn to read it in less than an hour. But then, reality hits. The moment you try to form a full sentence or have a real conversation, that easy language feels like a completely different beast. So today, we will dive into this paradox and decode why. Why is Korean, with its incredibly simple writing system, often considered so challenging to master? As a language specialist, I have a theory that goes beyond grammar rules and vocabulary. And if you understand and apply it, learning Korean will become much more natural and easier. I believe the difficulty is deeply rooted in the very foundation of how these two languages and the cultures they represent evolved. Let's start with English. Historically, English and many other European languages have strong ties to nomadic cultures, like the Vikings, the Huns, and the Germanic tribes. Communication needed to be direct and action-oriented. Who is doing what? What is the threat? The core information had to come first. Missing that or delaying it could mean death. This urgency shaped the subject-verb-object structure of English. I will challenge you, or I am here for a trade. The focus is on who is doing what immediately. Now, let's look at Korean. Historically, Korea was an agrarian society. For centuries, life revolved around settled communities and familiar relationships. Encounters with strangers were rare. Communication could afford to be more nuanced and contextual. This is one of the reasons why, when a foreign invasion happened, Koreans would first evacuate. Only in the new area, once a certain degree of rapport was established with their new community, would they begin to organize their resistance. This is why Korean is typically subject-object-verb. Usually the subject is assumed and omitted, and the verb, the action, often comes at the very end. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be there at all. For example, a Korean speaker can say "이쁘다," which means "it's pretty," without having to say who or what is pretty, because in most cases, the context is mutually understood. The sentence builds up the context and relationship first, before revealing the final action. This structure reflects a deep-seated value on context and relationship over immediate action. Because you're often talking to people you know, you don't always need to explicitly state the subject. This is where those crucial particles 은, 는, 이, 가, 을, 를 come in. They add layers of meaning and nuance that can be challenging for speakers coming from a more direct, action-oriented linguistic background. This also ties directly into Nunchi, which we've discussed before. That ability to read the room and understand unspoken cues is deeply embedded in the Korean language. You can often convey meaning by relying on shared understanding, a core feature of a settled agrarian society. But here's where things get even more interesting. Just as Korea's economic base has shifted dramatically from agriculture to industry and global trade, the Korean language itself is evolving. Younger generations and those in globalized industries are increasingly adopting more direct communication styles. You hear more English loanwords, and sentence structures are becoming more streamlined. This is a direct reflection of a need for speed and clarity in a globalized world. The good news is, this makes learning Korean that much easier. This shift can create generational conflicts in communication. A young person's directness might be seen as rude by an elder who grew up with the more contextual language of the past. So, is Korean inherently harder than English? Perhaps not, but it definitely reflects a different historical and cultural journey. It's a language built on context, relationships, and a deeply ingrained understanding of social cues. All things that can be challenging for speakers coming from a more direct, action-oriented linguistic background. As I used to teach my students, before trying to master English, first try to understand why it is structured that way. In most cases, it worked. The same goes for learning Korean. I'd love to know what you think of this theory. Does it resonate with your experience of learning Korean or even other languages? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to Decoding Korean. Until next time, 안녕!